You ever read a book or watch a movie where the main character is so boring and so painfully generic that you start rooting for the villain just to make things interesting? Yeah, that's a problem. See, if your protagonist is too perfect, if he's predictable, it's just about as exciting as a glass of room temperature water. No one really cares what happens to him. So let's talk about how to make a protagonist that people give a damn about. By the way, I'm Jeff Putnam, and I'm the author of the Cole Harper Adventure series. I launched it last month, and the first three in the series are killing it right now on Amazon. You can find the link in the channel descriptions if you want to check them out. If not, but you want to hear what I got to say, click like, click subscribe to the channel, and keep watching. Now, back to what I was talking about here. The mistake that most writers make is they think a protagonist needs to be likable when what they actually need to be is interesting. And see, there's a huge difference. A protagonist who's nice, friendly, he does all the right things, he might be a good person, but he's definitely not going to be a good character. Why? Because conflict is what makes people care. A great protagonist doesn't have to be someone you want to hang out with. They just have to be someone who's compelling enough that you can't look away. Now, for example, let's take Indiana Jones. He's cocky, he's reckless, and sometimes he's selfish, but you want to follow him because he's fun to watch. And Han Solo, same deal. He starts out as this self serving smuggler, much like Cole Harper. And that's what makes his journey into this reluctant hero so satisfying. You like him because he's got an edge, not because he's this goody two shoes moral arbiter. But a lot of these modern stories that we see cranked out in books and movies and TV shows, they keep cranking out these protagonists that always feel like they were just designed in a corporate meeting room. They're too perfect. They're too powerful. Hello, Miss Marvel. And sometimes, somehow, they're just the least interesting person in their own story. So, how do we fix that? If you're a writer, whether you're thinking about screenwriting, whether you want to write your own novel series, you need to know how to make a protagonist work. And there's a few things you can do to fix the problem that we're seeing in all these modern stories. So let's break it down. Number one, you have to give them a flaw that actually matters. And when I say flaw, a lot of writers, they misunderstand what I mean. They think, oh, my protagonist is clumsy or they care too much. That's not a flaw. That's just a minor inconvenience. A real flaw is something that actively makes their life harder and creates problems for them. Look at Jack Sparrow, for example. His biggest flaw is that he's a lying, backstabbing, selfish pirate. It's why everybody wants to kill him. It's why no one trusts him. And it's why every single plan he makes blows up in his face. However, that's also what makes him fun to watch. And a good protagonist flaw should make their journey more difficult, not just something you slap on like a sticker and says, oh, look, now he's relatable. Let's see. Number two, you have to make them want something very badly. You see, a great character, he wants something so badly, he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And I don't mean just, oh, they want to stop the bad guy. That's the obligation of the plot. They have to want to stop the bad guy. But they need something that is a personal drive. I'll go back to Indiana Jones. He's obsessed with finding lost artifacts because he has to, because it's his passion. And he's willing to risk his life. He's willing to defy authority. He's willing to get shot at by Nazis to chase what he wants. And that makes him interesting. Now, another thing, and we can call this number three on the list, is their choices have to have consequences. A boring protagonist, They're going to go through the story without actually changing anything. And a great one makes decisions that will alter the course of the events in the book. So, a bad example, let's say a live action Mulan remake. She's basically perfect from the start. She's a classic Mary Sue, much like Rey from the terrible Star Wars expanded trilogies, you know. But Mulan never really struggles. She never really makes a choice that backfires, and she never has to learn anything the hard way. And that's why the movie just feels so hollow. She's not growing and she's not affecting the world around her. You contrast that with someone like Tony Stark in Iron Man. He makes a lot of bad calls. He creates problems, and his arrogance nearly gets him killed. And every single step of the way, he's having to learn, he's having to adapt, and he's having to get better. And it's not because the plot needs him to, but his choices force him to change. And we get to witness that dynamic. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Marvel fan. The first couple were pretty good, but then it just devolved. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, at least not in this video. Now, number four, you have to give the protagonist an edge. Now, they need to be likable, but not likable in the traditional sense. You know, they don't have to be the nicest person in the room, but they do have to be entertaining. People love characters like Sherlock Holmes. They love Jack Sparrow. They also love Walter White. And it's not because they're good people, although Sherlock Holmes was a good guy, but they're fascinating to watch. They're sharp, they're unpredictable, and they have this edge that makes them stand out. And your protagonist should be someone like that. If you were to meet them in real life, you might say, "There's no way in hell I trust this guy. There's no way in hell I want to have my kids around this guy." But you'd be damn sure interested in just about anything they had to say. So we'll leave it at those four things for now. But if you want to write a protagonist that can actually hold a reader's attention, forget about making them perfect. Give them flaws that cause problems. Give them something they want. Make sure their choices matter and affect the world inside the book. And then, for the love of good storytelling, give them some edge because nobody wants to follow a protagonist around that feel like they were forced and tailored to in some focus group to watch. That's how you make characters that stick with people. So that's going to do it for this video. And if you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe. I write books that actually follow these rules. So if you like adventure fiction that doesn't suck, you know where to find me and you know where to find those books right there in the channel description. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.